XRP holders, you're going to want to stick around until the end of this video. And no, I'm not just trying to keep you guys around for engagement. I am literally going to be going through a ton of information that will make you even more bullish than you already are on XRP. So with that being said, welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. And if you guys are not following me on all social media platforms, you are missing out on a ton of other information as well. So what are you guys doing? Go down in the description below and follow me on all social media platforms and join the free Discord. 6,000 plus additional members in there. There's so much information in there. There's a lot of great exit strategies, things like that. So what are you guys doing? Join it. You won't regret it. With that being said, let's dive on in. So institutionalization of crypto assets. It's happening. And this is from KPMG. The staying power of many crypto assets will be defined by their ability to reduce friction and inefficiencies that currently, we have the rest over here, exist within the global economy. Volatility is widely quoted as a significant limitation for the use of crypto for any use case. While volatility is certainly a problem, it is important to recognize that these assets are still fairly immature and will become less volatile as they mature. There are also significant efforts that are underway across the industry for the creation of what are called stablecoins to address the volatility problem. Now, within this, obviously this is a little bit older of a PDF file, but they were fully focused on what was going to happen around tokenization and also financial use cases within the space. Here we have the crypto landscape and token economy. This is what they are envisioning around this. It is a substantial breakdown, but for the most part, the big focus here is not how all of this is going to work. It's more so how institutions are providing trust in the space and allowing crypto to scale. That's what they are looking at in terms of, the next step for crypto to create trust and scale. Now, if we're thinking about institutions in that aspect, right? We know that this year institutions have been embracing crypto more than ever before. The institutional era of crypto brings fresh innovation. That was posted back in March, where we start to see big institutions jumping in, tokenizing, buying up and acquiring some crypto-based companies. And this is only going to continue from here on out. The number one acquisition that I want to bring up is the DTCC, right? Settling $3 quadrillion per year, acquiring securrency. It's crazy that these types of names are now jumping into the space in large ways, throwing capital into the space as well. And a lot of people are still on the fence about, whether or not this space is going to be, a $100 trillion asset class. It's clear to me that this space will be a $100 trillion asset class. It's clear to me that this space will run the world. And I've said it on multiple occasions on how we get there. Now, I put out a post back in January because I saw the institutional focus then, and I continue to notice it even now. I said, I strongly believe that we are starting to move away from the speculative market into a much more mature one. Let's talk about it real quick. Now, it was more so focused on the ETFs because Jay Clayton, when he was in the SEC, he said that there was far too much wash trading and illicit use of Bitcoin to have an ETF, and then we officially got one, which I thought was very interesting. But also, I think that we need to focus on the regulatory side of things and standardization side of things, which is happening, right? Like Singapore, the UAE, the UK, Hong Kong, Japan, Europe, even the US, they're pushing crypto regulatory movements to finally have some type of framework to go off of. Now, I said also tokenization. A lot of big players like Aberdeen with Hedera, Franklin Templeton with Stellar, they're now starting to pick their winners. They are picking the big players that I foresee being around for the next 5, 10 plus years. But I also started to see the flood of institutional and enterprise players jumping into the space. Citi put out a report regarding mass adoption, how we get there, which I found very interesting. But also the convergence of blockchain and AI, which will accelerate the adoption of blockchain itself. AI is becoming a big topic, and it will only continue to grow, especially as enterprises start to, introduce AI into their tech stack to automate things. Blockchain will be ever more so needed. At the end of the day, the ETFs are the beginning of what's to come for crypto. Institutions are embracing this market for what it really will become, a breeding ground of incredible innovation and wealth creation. The key for the retail sector was to be positioned and be positioned before it really is too late to be early. And we still have time. We still have time to be early in the space. You just have to pick the right ones. But even Monica Long, the president of Ripple, told us 2024 is quickly shaping up to be the year of crypto institutionalization on a macro scale. And she also mentioned how TradFi companies already are launching crypto access, tokenization products, etc., and how they did it in previous bear markets. But now we're starting to see it in a very large way through some of the biggest names out there. Now also, we have David Schwarz. Will the next wave of institutions revive and catalyze XRP's price action? Check this out.
I started working on what became Ripple in late 2011.
2011.
And the company was late 2012.
Okay, so around that time frame, there was some initial hostility that we've talked about before towards Ripple and its sort of institution-centric approach. And it does feel like things have changed. I mean, we're talking a lot about regulation. We're talking about ETFs from Blackstone, BlackRock, and and all of these different entities. What does it feel like, from your seat? Do you feel like people have kind of evolved to the Ripple worldview, or, it must feel different for you, given all of that criticism you got initially?
Yeah, I think the undeniable piece of proof is stablecoins like USDC and Tether. They are as institutional a thing as you can possibly get, and yet they are what's fueling these completely decentralized economies. I think you can't deny right now that the institutional adoption is going to enable grassroots adoption and vice versa. I think the thing that we were too early on is when we were trying to bring institutions on for their payments, they weren't going to bring their customers to blockchains, right? Like if your bank is using, let's say they're using Ripple's payment technology and they're using blockchains and they're using XRP in payments. You as a customer, it's invisible to you. They're not going to bring you into the blockchain space. Yeah. What's exciting about this second wave of sort of institutional adoption is that they're either bringing their customers directly onto the blockchain or they're enabling people to do things on the blockchain.
Sure.
I think you have to accept that, like, if there's going to be mass adoption, it's going to be these sort of hand in hand.
Yeah.
The thing that I think people were skeptical about, that I think now the evidence is undeniable, is that wouldn't mean that everything would have to be regulated. I think the thing that people didn't realize is that, like, you can have a stable coin or a loan portfolio or a tokenized security that's completely thoroughly regulated. They do KYC, AML on every single customer. And yet on the back end, there's tokens that represent ownership interest or collateralization against that are completely decentralized. So, that's like, we see that now.
On that note, David, thank you so much for joining us. It's super.
And, I do want to mention what he did say, which was they were kind of in the early stages of institutional adoption. They were ready back then, but institutions were not ready. But now, what he's saying is that institutions are ready to bring their clients in. They're ready to expose their clients to blockchain. This is incredible for the entire industry, but I also think that it's going to be incredible for those front runners that were ready previously before the space was mature enough to finally welcome in institutions. Ripple was at the forefront. XRP and the XRPL are also at the forefront, which means I do think that once we finally have the institutions embracing this technology in such a massive way, and once we have regulations, Ripple and XRP, they are going to be two dominant forces in the entire world of crypto and even in the entire world of finance itself. Now, also building on top of this, David Schwarz explains the strategy behind RippleNet and the utility of XRP. Ripple plans on integrating financial institutions into a payment system, Ripple Payments, that can settle transactions using XRP. By establishing a robust infrastructure, including on-ramps, off-ramps, and sufficient liquidity, there will be no barriers preventing these institutions from using XRP to settle their payments. This will drive trillions, as Ripple plans to have dozens of financial institutions flooding onto the XRP ledger. Check this out.
The idea is get institutions using a payment system that can settle with XRP. Then as the infrastructure, on-ramps, off-ramps, and liquidity is available, there's no obstacle to them using XRP to settle their payments. So that's RippleNet. You can kind of think of Ripple as having two halves: RippleNet, which is like enterprise software for institutional payments, and then RippleX, which is all the XRP ledger and DeFi stuff. The idea is.
So there you guys have it. And as we really look at what's going on here, it's all based around one key target, which is institutions. Because why should we even target retail? Everyone is always focused on, oh, well, what about the retail use cases? What about retail? Guys, retail, the way that this works is institutions are the key. They unlock the door and they shuffle all of their clientele through that door into blockchain. Institutions and enterprises are the keys to mass adoption because retail, let's just be honest here, they don't matter. Mass adoption will be achieved through these players. They will bring their clients into the space. Now, also, when we look at the back end of Ripple, everyone's always talking about XRP, XRP, XRP. Oh, XRP is not utilized. They don't care about XRP. They're replacing it with a stablecoin. They're replacing it with this. Ripple's business model centers around its digital payment protocol, XRP Ledger. Financial institutions must integrate their systems with the XRP Ledger to utilize Ripple services. This integration enables them to send and receive payments seamlessly using Ripple's native digital currency XRP. Everything that Ripple is trying to do here is still integrating with the XRP Ledger. And once we have the green light, once we have the regulations, that's when all of, the speculation ends. The game will officially be on. That's when institutions will embrace this technology in such a large way. That's when we'll start to see the floodgates really open for trillions and trillions of dollars and also massive amounts of users to be in this space without even realizing it. The end goal is mass adoption through this technology with these big players, these big institutions, bringing those retail individuals on chain without them realizing the back-end technology at all. And also, this is the business model canvas of Ripple's. This is what it looks like. Again, everything on here is giving us an insight on just how everything works. We have the key partners, which guess what? I don't see retail there. Financial institutions, banks, payment service providers. We have key activities, payment protocol development, cross-border payment solutions, key resources, RippleNet technology infrastructure, value propositions. For financial institutions, Ripple's value proposition for financial institutions lies in providing them with a secure, reliable, and efficient cross-border payment solution. For corporate customers, value proposition centers around simplifying their global payment processes and reducing costs. And then we also have for digital asset exchanges. Ripple's value proposition for digital asset exchanges revolves around providing liquidity, enhancing the trading experience for their users. Everything that we are seeing around what Ripple is focused on, they don't care about retail. Their end target is institutions, corporates, which will lead to mass adoption because of them bringing their clients over. Now, also check this out. Morgan Stanley, one of the most important financial institutions in the world, has stated that cryptocurrencies will disrupt the global financial system in 2024. Big shout out to Smoke Dog for this. We have in a banking and financial law journal, it is documented that Morgan Stanley has also stated that Ripple is a leading payment alternative to SWIFT. And their own research reports, Morgan Stanley notes that XRP is more efficient than Bitcoin and is closer to what traditional banks do today. Can't make this up. And here you have it. Review of banking and financial law. Morgan Stanley has stated that adopting a Ripple-like payment system could shorten settlement periods, speed up transactions, and reduce the risk of fraud. Morgan Stanley considers Ripple to be a leading international payment alternative to SWIFT. And then also over here, Morgan Stanley, one of the most important financial consultancies in the world, has predicted that cryptocurrencies will disrupt the global financial system in 2024. That both stablecoins and the rise of central bank digital currencies are completely reshaping global finance as well. And then let me open this up in a new tab. This is from advisor.morganstanley.com. We note that XRP's consensus protocol system is comparatively much more efficient than Bitcoin's proof of work. Now, they also say that, Ripple has created a payment system that requires a centralized intermediary to check transactions. So it's not directly comparable to the Bitcoin system, but it is closer to what traditional banks do today, which is why the big institutions and the big banks will always choose Ripple and what Ripple has created because it's directly comparable to what they already do, what these big banks already do today. So this is why I still focus on what Ripple and XRP are doing, what they're becoming. And even outside of this, remember that Ripple has already teed up so many institutions. They already have all of these big banks tied to them. And you also have to remember that these are just like a few of the big banks. There's also a lot of players through their partners that they are exposed to. Like, for an example, Accenture, which has massive numbers behind them. We're talking about 9,000 plus clients, served across 120 countries, 350 plus partners in their ecosystem. Then you also have Finastra, which Accenture is also a partner of Finastra's as well. But there's a lot of other ones on this list. But if you also look at the numbers behind them, 8,100 financial institutions. Like, as we think about the numbers here, thousands and thousands of institutions, thousands of banks have exposure to Ripple through what Ripple is, doing, what they're, who they're connecting with, who they're partnering with. It's a domino effect like no other. I've always talked about this. I've always mentioned it. So as we really look at what's going on here, once institutions are finally here in a big way, because regulations are an obstacle. Once regulations are here, that's it. Now the floodgates are officially open, and these institutions can now tap in to what they are used to, which is Ripple. Ripple is what they are used to because that's comparable to what traditional banks do today. So focus on institutionalization of crypto, which is happening. It did start to happen this year. I do think that we are moving away from that, speculative and hype-driven market. Maybe not entirely in 2024, but I think that after this year, utility is going to be the focus going forward, regardless of what anyone is saying. I think that utility is going to take over after roughly 2024, maybe even 2025. But if you're not stacking, if you're not locking away some XRP, QNT, HBAR, etc., you're missing the entire target. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.